Hi, everybody. We're back with more Mega Man. I'm MrCab. We're here to play Mega Man 4 today. I've been told I have to defeat Drillman on stream, so we're going to reset now and start from the title screen like a normal human being. But, Mega Man 4, good classic Mega Man game. We've got a Mega Buster, we've got a slide. I think most people know how this goes. We're going to pretend that Dr. Cossack is the villain for the first 12 stages, and not talk about any other evil scientists. So, without further ado, 3, 2, 1, I have my own timer, let's go. So there are two popular routes for this game. Lots of people like to go to Brightman first, because Brightman's weapon really does dominate basically every single stage in this game. We're going to go to Pharaoh first, because Balloon is a lot of fun, and because I like having Pharaoh shot for the second stage. See all these hits I'm taking on Scorpions? That's why you like to go to Brightman's first sometime. This is absurd. I'm sullying the good name of Mega Man 4 right now. At least we made the jump. That is a very tight jump to get over here. A lot of times rush coil is kind of intended. A lot of times that B will snipe you out of the air. So we at least got to here. The run can continue. Otherwise, we'd be resetting, and I would actually use Rush Coil. There are strats for not getting the balloon. So I think there are a lot of people here who are familiar with Mega Man 2. We'll see the balloon and its similarities to Item 1 later. For now, we can't really do anything except ride these platforms. So we have a little bit of lag management. I'm sad because I didn't manage my lag properly. We got the shots on the screen. Just like a lot of NES games, it's what can I do to reduce the lag? And here, it's make sure these platforms don't shoot. As much as possible, anyway. Not much you can do, though. We're talking about, like, frames. So let's go. And let's start showing off the Mega Buster. It does charge while you slide in this game, unlike 5. You have to fire a shot to start charging, at least the Buster. Pharaoh Man is a jerk and likes to jump all over the room. We're going to try and hit him with as many charge shots as we can. Bosses have 28 hit points. What? So we need to hit him with 7 full charge shots. No, 9 full charge shots, plus another lemon. There he goes. And we're going to try and stand on a very specific spot here. If I got it right, and I'm not sure. There we go. Mega Man, rather than jumping up, kind of snaps right into the middle of the screen if you're standing on the magic pixel. Which saves, you know, like half a second or a second every time you do it. Across the whole run, you know, that's a good 10-16 seconds once you start adding up the actual times.
I'll say we got $25 from Anonymous, so thank you for that.
Yo, thanks, Anonymous. The bottomless pockets of Anonymous are strong.
Yeah, definitely.
And so with that, we are off to Brightman stage. Obviously, because there is a little bit of you can do Bright first. The strats here are pretty consistent with that route. Nice. We got good grasshoppers there. They're jumping far. Grasshoppers can decide to jump far or not so far. And if they jump not so far, we're sad, and we're just sitting there waiting for them to go faster so that we can continue our speedrun. Cool, we're shooting these weird hanging things. And so now that we do have Pharaoh, we're going to start actually using it. There is a strat here that does make use of the balloons we picked up, and it's crazy. And we got short balloons here, so we're going to try and damage boost. Short grasshoppers. Nice. And another you see just how slow it is. It's a crazy strat that involves a lot of damage boosting, but it basically boils down to those grasshoppers cause a lot of lag. And so this second platform, just walk off the edge. You can't walk off the edge and just pop up there. Okay. The dark room is fun. It's always fun to have a room like over a giant pit like that. But yeah, you can't walk off the edge. If you're caught on the back edge, slide forward. that second to third platform transition where Mega Man just kind of popped up in the air, that's like a rough jump. It really shouldn't be. So I highly recommend just always doing that. So Brightman. Brightman, for those familiar with the game, and everybody who knows this familiar explanation, I'm sorry, has the flash stopper that just stops Mega Man in place. But he only uses it if he has 16, 8, or 4 hit points left. So that was that uncharged shot very early in the fight that just kind of set him on a path to never hit those powers of 2. And shoutouts to people in chat who like the hat. Always wear a hat. So yeah, we have Flash Stopper now, which is going to destroy the game because we can freeze enemies in place. Unfortunately, we don't really use it in Ringman stage because it's better to have Pharaoh Shot out to clear out enemies. And this first section is where we first get to see Balloon. So I kind of mentioned earlier, it's kind of like Item 1 from Mega Man 2. It creates this platform. Also, you might not have caught it there, but that balloon that was placed in the wall, it tried to like disappear and despawn. You have, I think it's like 16 frames to land on that balloon and jump off of it, which, as I'm told by high-level runners, is a literal speedrunning eternity. There is a little bit to, like, having a rhythm to that to be able to do it, but we'll see more of that later. Balloon is a very nice weapon. Very nice utility on... What are you doing, game? Okay. So here's Pharaoh Shot again. We can shoot on angles, clearing out enemies. The problem with this stage as a whole is that we are very tight on ammo and very tight on health. We're obviously skipping these mini-bosses, right? Mega Man 4 is a game where there's a lot of mid-bosses and very few of them that you actually kill. Because you can just go right by those hippos. Mega Man 5 reference. Okay. Speed noises. Okay, we killed it that time. Last time I played this game in a marathon setting, I missed that enemy, and it was not fun. We got to play the second half of the stage a second time for some reason. So let's keep going. You need 8 health to crash through that. That's another point about this game. Like, bosses just destroy you by bodying you. Every boss that's not named Pharaoh Man does 8 hit points of contact damage. And like I mentioned earlier, you only have 28 hit points. So here's Ringman. Ringman, kind of notorious for being a more difficult boss. Unfortunately, he has a really simple pattern once you kind of know it. That wasn't even the fastest kill, but it's a very reliable kill. Again, we find the pixel, we get out of here.
That was some impressive platforming.
That whole last screen is definitely a section of, like, you have to know what can go wrong and how to, like, respond to it. Because it's very easy to kind of get lost there and find yourself in the bottom of the pit. And those, like, Saturn enemies, if you miss one, you just gotta keep an eye on it. I'm not sure what the maximum number of hats I've worn at once is, but I do have 3 hat racks. So there's enemies that are supposed to be popping out of this pit. Those are, of course, shield attacker enemies that are supposed to deflect shots that hit the front side of them. And Flash Stopper here is just like, nope, none of that. More speed noises. Let's jump. Okay. This room is actually referred to as the lag room for obvious reasons. There is another strat for this stage that involves using Pharaoh Shot to kill everything, given its diagonal shooting capability. It is, I think, like 2 seconds faster and incredibly more difficult. And of course, if you get drops, you're still in just as much trouble. So this is the garbage compactor room. We made it. Oh my god. I might finally actually be getting good at that. Usually I don't go for that. It's really tight to get that shot off. It's not as tight as you might think, but it's still very tight. Mega Man in Mega Man 4 has knees, so when he starts to get crushed, there's a little bit of give before you actually explode. Whereas in Mega Man 5, he's made of like fine porcelain, and if you like tap him on the head, everything just shatters apart. How many hats do I have access to? I mean, they're all here, but the problem is getting up. I don't mind answering that question because Dustman can be that simple. Dustman sucks sometimes. No joke, he's got like a vacuum cleaner attached to his head, and that makes him invincible, and then we lose time. Dust Crusher is probably the first weapon we have that we're not going to use very much, except on bosses. The Skullman stage is notable for having this game's zip. There's a couple of other human viable zips, but they're not as fast as playing the stage. And then there's a couple of not so human viable zips. So we're going to stand on the edge of this platform and wait for this enemy to touch the gray line. You need the iframes. By Mega Man 4, they figured out, wait, people are zipping in my speed game? What? What? And made it so Mega Man will die if he's inside a wall. But if you have iframes, well, you save 7 seconds. Otherwise, without Balloon, you would be using Bright through this whole section as well. But because we have Balloon out already, rather than putting it away, we're going to use it to these jumps, which you hopefully don't make on the 3rd try, but the 1st try. It's true, Skullman's music is probably one of the best tunes in the Mega Man series, and I'm sad I talked over the drums and the claps there. So yeah, this is going to be a familiar pattern through the last few robot stages, where we just get out Brightman's weapon and use it. So we should talk about this for a second, because many of you have probably played this game, used the flash stopper, and said, MrCab, you're lying to me. What did you do to break this game? Because the flash stopper does not last this long. What are you doing? It's on a timer, obviously, for how long it lasts, and for whatever reason, it does not run while the game is paused. We didn't get the claps there. So that's why you slide through screens. Some screens especially, you can see how well you're doing just based on how far you can get. Skullman only reacts when you do something. It's usually better when you show that off at the start of the fight, but it does work just as well in the middle of the fight. I mean, losing 15 seconds to having a refreshing beverage is okay. So don't let these Robot Master names fool you. This is actually Drill Man because he spins at you through the water, you know, with the corkscrew attack. And the other one, the one that actually says Drill Man, will dive under the ground. So clearly they got these backwards. And we're going to penalize them by just ignoring most of their stage here. Again, Flash Stopper is just too strong. This game, along with really the entirety of the second half of the NES games, for whatever reason, you cannot jump out of slides underwater in them, making Mega Man 3 the only NES game you can jump out of a slide underwater. It's actually about, it's something about foreground effects, and the water qualifies. It's foreground effects because when we get to Toadman stage, there's something similar where we're not actually underwater, but we still can't jump out of slides in some spots. It's not world record, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Okay.
As long as it's underestimate.
As long as we're underestimate. So you're saying I can't take an hour to drink a Pepsi and I should not get the wire in this pit? Got it.
I mean, it's not my marathon.
Okay.
I won't stop you.
I mean, if we get up to $5,000 in the next second, I'll go back and get the wire, but I don't think that's happening. The wire is another like kind of quirky utility item in this game that kind of lets Mega Man zipline up to the ceiling, but he needs a ceiling, and it's a really cool concept that just has no real uses in a playthrough of this game. It's like a couple of screens where it might be useful, even casually. Although it does damage the Cossack catcher. I think we're still going to move to the right. Yeah, because he's jumping up. You see the whole animation. The other like extra bit of the Magic Pixel is if you're on the Magic Pixel in Pharaoh and Dive Man stage and you kind of jump and get to the middle of the screen. I forget all the conditions to meet, but you'll sometimes see the white bubble animation close in on Mega Man while he's jumping and the fanfare is playing, which skips even the shorter version of the animation and saves even more time. Drill Man stage, also with the cool music. I guess we'll say that I'm lagging the game so we get to hear it some more. But again, we're just gonna go through this with Flash Stopper. It really is the name of the last usage of this game. There are some things in here that, like, there's Buster only strats. There are a few other tricks you can do. But when you have a weapon that's as overpowered as the Flash Stopper, you're going to use it. You do want to flash as soon as the screen starts. We got it. Okay. If there's bullets on the screen there, they're backups to, you know, still get up there anyway. So this next screen, not this one, but the next one, is one of the ones I was talking about. You're going to see me jump off a cliff at some point, and a rock's going to fall behind me, especially now that I had that extra step in there. If you are the world record holder of this game, or somebody who's really, really high on the leaderboards and good at this, that whole second flash you just saw never happens. You get to this gate, and your first flash on the screen is still active, which is insane. So here's Dive Man. He looks like Drill Man, but he's actually Dive Man. Listening for that point in the music, because that's when he's going to start jumping up. So you see, he dives underground again. Every time he does that, that's 4 seconds. It's just gone. It's 8 seconds, just gone. It's gone. He always dives to open the fight, so I'm not worried about that one. This guy! So I want to try and center him a little bit here, because every time he pops up, you can hit him twice. The fanfare in this game begins when the last of the little explosion bubbles leaves the screen. So despite the lag they might inflict a little bit, it's to your advantage to kill a Robot Master as close to the middle of the room as possible. Vertically as well, if you can get somebody in the middle of a jump. The jump's there in that fight because the dive missile has some other fun names, but the dive missile, despite being a homing missile, is erratic. I think that's the word we want to use. It's very erratic. And if you kind of shoot it slightly above Drill Man so it kind of goes down, it's a little more effective. It's more likely to connect. So this is Toadman stage. If you're like me and you're really old and you grew up in the 90s with this game, you might remember Nintendo Power and GamePro saying, well, when you play Mega Man 4, you know, bosses have weaknesses, and Toadman is a really easy Robot Master to kill. You should fight this boss first. Something like that. Except, this stage... I saw that drop! This stage is probably one of the harder stages if you don't have any weapons, so telling newcomers to Mega Man to come here first is insane. We also have some more mid-bosses not seen in this game. That's a snail. And these waterfalls, if you're too far in like the edge of that waterfall, you can't actually jump out of a slide. For some reason, turning left like triggers the hitbox and knocks Mega Man back to the right there, which we obviously want. Right then. And now, because we are here last and we do have a boss weakness, we're going to pull out the drill bombs. So Toadman has this devastating attack called the Rain Flush. It attacks everything on the screen. You can't avoid it. You will take damage from it if he actually uses it. Toadman, unfortunately, as long as you're just shooting at him, whether it's with drill bombs or the Mega Buster, will just keep jumping around and never actually attack you. And yeah, old NES games having hard stages is not really news to anybody, but at the same time, it's like, wow, the stage becomes, this whole game gets easier as soon as you get Brightman's weapon, to the point that Rush Marine and Rush Jet don't get a lot of action in the robot stages. Rush Jet after the 7th robot's got to be crazy. Alright, so everybody forget that this is a Mega Man game for a second. This is Dr. Cossack. He's the villain. He's the bad guy. The new mysterious Dr. Cossack. It said so in the opening sequence before we got to the title screen. So he's evil. We got to get him. Also, there's an E-Tank on the left. It's like the #1 marathon and race strat for this game is pick up that E-Tank. It's 2 seconds if you just slide over. And this stage, because just like every other NES Mega Man game, right, you don't get your weapon energy refilled between castle stages. So we're going to make use of the Mega Buster again for the first time, really, since like Brightman stage? As long as like we're sliding off the edge of these pits, we can generally get over these flying dudes. Here's a back boost. Yay! So Balloon gets a little more action here. What a bad man Cossack is, it's true. How dare he build 8 robots to try and destroy Mega Man. Shoutouts to Mega Man 2, Dr. Wily 1. So the Moth boss, I forget its name, doesn't even really matter. The problem is it has this gem on the bottom there. That's where we have to attack it. And the actual hitbox is like 1 pixel but wide. And I'm told like the hitbox of the Ring Boomerang is equally like 1 pixel. So getting those 2 pixels to connect can sometimes be just impossible. Now, Dr. Cossack is definitely worse than Mr. X. As much as Mr. X was manipulating that fool Dr. Wily from the beginning. I mean, that's a whole nother story. Dr. Wily's totally not in this game. I don't know what you're talking about. Just work with me, folks. Work with me. So this is the stage where I like to talk about speed noises for a second. Is that every speedrunner has those noises they make, and sometimes they're cues, like this one. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Ba-dum, ba-dum. See, I missed it. Ba-dum, ba-dum. You need to get the second jump there to actually get past that weird hanging enemy. So this is a screen you're intended to fly over with Rush Jet, but it turns out sliding is faster. I don't like... I have too little health. I'm not going to deboost here. And this screen, more than any of the other screens, is the one where Balloon wins over Rush Jet easily. Because other than that, like Rush Jet, it's arguably going to work just as well. The people who are better at slides are probably yelling at me right now saying, "No, Cab, you can slide so much faster with Balloon. What are you talking about?" But Rush Jet's fine for everything there, except that last screen where you basically need to go straight up. So now we've got the Dust Crusher and one of the biggest sources of RNG in this entire game, the Square Machine. It will fly through the screen at one of 3 speeds, and it will continue to go fly across the screen again at a slower speed until it's at the slowest speed when it will come together. So there's the fast speed, and it will always come through at this speed. So even if it started here, right, we've immediately lost time because we had to see that fast one in the first place. That's going to connect. Okay. You know how slow E-Tanks feel in this game? That's why you don't want to use them, but there's no checkpoint in the boss corridor in the castle stages in this game, so that's worse. So, you know, marathon setting, we want to keep the SpeedGaming folks on schedule. Let's go. There we go. There's no better way to not really take any more hits in a boss fight than by using an E-Tank. Yeah, there's no Yoku blocks in Dr. Cossack's castle. So weird. In fact, we have something even more nefarious than Yoku blocks or even Mr. X here. We have an auto-scroller. So sit back and enjoy the music, everybody. Just because auto-scrollers are kind of like this sometimes, and we're kind of hanging out with the game. If you do want to come in, learn some more of the Mega Man runs, definitely check out the Mega Man Leaderboards website. We've got the links to the Discord in there. Come, show up, play in some of the weekly races that we're trying to get started again. We just had our kind of annual-ish relay race. It's a ton of fun. Highly recommend it. And really, like, all skill levels, any of these games, because what, we've got 12 games in the Classic Series. Don't forget Rockman and Forte. You've got the X Series, the Zero Series. Just show up, have fun. Also, once you see the unhappy clouds, you can't unsee the unhappy clouds. So this stage really is just lag management again, right? You want these platforms off the screen as fast as possible. The only Vile stage he knows in X3. Doesn't the intro stage count? I didn't really talk about Pharaoh Shot when I was actually using it. This orb over Mega Man's head is just for me holding the B button. If an enemy hits it, it might kill them, and it doesn't use weapon energy. If it's something like Brightman, it doesn't use weapon energy. When the orb hits it, it only uses weapon energy when it's actually thrown. That got fixed in the Game Boy Mega Man 4, but here it's definitely something we're going to use, especially here against the Cockroach Twins. There are Legends and Legends 2 speedruns. I'm less familiar with those, but they do exist, for sure. I'm supposed to have thrown that, so that's a time loss. Oh, wow. What are we doing? What's even going on anymore? Alright, so this fight is a catastrophe for me now. Not a big deal. It does mean I'm using more Pharaoh ammo than I'd like, but no biggie. The actual strat there is to be able to kill the top one with a thrown shot that goes diagonally down, so it gets the first hit on the bottom one. Ammo conservation. There are plenty of ammo drops to refill your weapons throughout the stages. The ones we got for Ring and Dust are kind of the big ones. If you're going on a world record run, you don't refill Pharaoh. Pharaoh is exactly mapped out to exactly what you need. But this is a marathon run. We don't want to be caught having to farm for Pharaoh because it's the only thing that will hurt the actual final boss. So we're going to refill it there. Well, that was supposed to be a slide. Controller, please. Always blame the equipment. You know, walk here because you can't jump out of a slide on like any background, foreground kind of thing. That includes ladders. Drill, that's what blows this up. It's drill. So we use balloon there instead of rush coil just because rush coil has this very nice little animation. Let's show the animation. Whee! And that costs some time while the game unpauses. What? Ammo. I don't want that ammo. You see, I just saw up there that I switched to the R Buster, not the Mega Buster. So we're using the Rock Buster here on the Rockman 4 Famicom cart. It's kind of worth mentioning here. The texts on the English version I think is a little bit slower, but at the same time, Dr. Cossack and the Cossack catcher here does not act right away, so you're able to kind of get in there and actually do some damage to him. What? So the Cossack caster here, for whatever reason, Dr. Cossack like thinks that Mega Man, when he's down, Dr. Cossack doesn't want to move my Mega Man sliding. So you can kind of manipulate Dr. Cossack into not doing things. And at 2 hit points, Dr. Cossack stops because Proto Man appears for no reason at all. With Dr. Cossack's daughter, he says Dr. Wily kidnapped her. Oh my god! Okay, yes, it was Dr. Wily all along. The most famous eyebrows in gaming, as LV Creed would say. Of course, it's not always about stopping Dr. Wily. It is, in fact, always about the Mets. Let's go Mets. I love the Mets, baby. I do actually love them. We have the Gotta Believe shirt on today. But actually, no, the little helmeted enemies in the Mega Man series are Met Tools, Met Tours, whatever we're going to call the Mets. And this stage has only one enemy type in it, and they're all Mets. If you like the Mets, this is kind of neat. If you hate the Mets, you will point out that we're in the sewer system of Dr. Wily's castle. Why are the Mets hanging out in the sewer? Either way, we have a Buster stage on our hands here. I'm going to have a heart attack and die from not surprise when Dr. Wily appears. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Have to be a little careful here with the spike ceiling. And again, can't jump out of a slide underwater. To everybody who complained about the lack of Yoku blocks, pay attention. Pay attention, you're going to miss them. They gave us 2 screens of Yoku blocks in this game. The disappearing, reappearing blocks that the Mega Man series is somewhat famous for. Mets have the best work ethic of all the robots. I mean, they might. If only they could actually hit anything. Am I a speedrunner in scoring position? I'm reaching for baseball jokes here. But this is Big Daddy Met, who has a little bit of RNG to how long he stands around, how long he stays with his helmet all the way down so you can't hit him. That was actually a really good fight. I have lost focus on my splits. Oh no, I didn't lose focus on him. I'd never split after Dr. Wily appeared. Okay. 4 total Yoku blocks for Mega Man 4. I mean, yeah. The second one of those screens is actually one of the screens where the wire would actually be a useful thing to have if you don't make the rush jet jump. So, we haven't really seen it yet. Cossack 2 would almost be it otherwise. I do like to joke around that every Mega Man game has one stage that is Rush Jet the stage, and this is it. We're going to keep Rush Jet on, and as long as Rush is on the screen in some capacity, we can shoot the Mega Buster, so we're going to do that. Sometimes we might even push it at the optimal moment. And look right. Rush spawn's looking right instead of having to make like a frame perfect jump off of Rush. This is the Chelny jump screen. Don't ask why. Ow. Now you actually saw a little quirk there that we don't usually show off because there's no time to really do it. You saw Rush get recentered underneath Mega Man when I got hit there. Coil and Jet will just recenter underneath Mega Man anytime he gets hit in this game, which is kind of funny. I'm going to jump through this door so we can fire a shot here, because remember how slow life meters fill up? When a boss gets hurt, its life meter just kind of instantly fills the rest of the way up. So we use that here. Then, for whatever reason, if you hit the gem with drill, this boss's entire hitbox just goes away, and you could do that. Make sure you hit the top half. There's a bottom half, and if you hit that with the drill, it doesn't work. Or you can go into the bottom half, but you can't jump into the top half. Wow, just like that, Met's unsuccessful. Chat's being mean to me. Anyway. No, this one. It's a marathon. I'm getting the E-Tank. There are a couple of refight routes for this game. A lot of people will actually also refill Dust here instead of in Cossack 3 like I did. This is a good time to kind of switch to Dust and get through this screen. And you can go to fight Pharaoh Man first, or we can keep Ring out and fight Dust Man first. They're very comparable routes. I think like going to Dust first is maybe like a second, maybe two faster, regardless of your ammo usage. I'm kind of picking this thing up. I like going to Dustman first because it's better than going to Dustman last, because if Dustman sucks and we have to take damage against him to stop him from sucking, like this, and that's 8 hit points every time you collide with him, right? That's awful. This route also goes faster when you don't miss menu. So most of the refights, we're going to go through really the set that are exactly the same first. There we go. So, you know, just like any other Mega Man game you might think of, we just kind of want to stay close to the teleporter. The big difference with the Ring Man fight is I can't enter this fight with a full charge over my head. So I'm going to have to find a spot to get another second uncharged shot in. Like there. And again, we want to save that Pharaoh ammo as much as we can because we need that for Dr. Wily. Same with the Ring ammo. We need it for the Wily machine. So Pharaoh Man is where we start seeing some differences here. Because you might say, well, Pharaoh Man's weakness is a flash stopper. Why aren't we using it? Because it's slow. Well, what about the Mega Buster? You use that the first time. Well, Dust is conveniently a soft weakness that does 2 points of damage per shot, so we're going to make use of that. And then immediately go to Skull Man, who still doesn't do anything as long as you don't do anything. But I'm all out of Pepsi now. So if I walk towards him, he'll shoot. If I just shoot, then he jumps at me. And he won't do the same thing more than twice in a row. That's how this whole fight works. Ow. Come on. This is a random amount of time. But the key takeaway there is that I used Dust in 2 consecutive fights, so it saves a menu. So we're going to do the same thing here. We've got Skull, which we're going to use on Dive, and we're going to use it enough to hit Dive Man 7 times and deflect 1 missile right there. And Skull is a soft weakness for Bright Man. So it's going to do 2 points of damage. Again, we want to keep him off of 16, 4, and 8 hit points. So I want to hit him with 3 or 5 shields. We got him with 5 shields there. So now he's just never going to hit those points, those damage thresholds. And then we can use the Rain Flush and just take care of business. And now we still have we have Rain Flush out still. So again, we're chaining weapons, because this does all of 1 point of damage, but it does it while he's diving into the ground. So here, the dive missile does only 3 points of damage. Bosses have 28 hit points. 3n plus 1, you'll get to 28. So that Rain Flush is actually an entire extra hit from the dive missile that we don't need to land now. Ring. So this is going to be the best sound you've ever heard in your life. Not the life meter, but the ring hitting him. Isn't it just music to your ears? So So just like Taco Trash with landing a hit to get the weapon, the life meter to fill up faster, the exploding drill both kills the first phase and lands a hit on the second phase. So that saves some life meters filling up. You can destroy the escape capsule with Rain Flush and it will soft lock the game. So if you ever want the bad ending, or the so-called bad ending where Mega Man actually kills Dr. Wily, you just need some more Rain Flush for that screen. We are wrapping up here shortly. We're getting into the last stage, the actual last stage this time. Is this the ringtone adults get here? I'm getting pretty old and I can still hear it, so. It is not a good sound. There's some enemies here because Dr. Wily technically takes damage from 2 weapons. He'll take 1 point of damage from the ring boomerang. If you're using the ring boomerang against Dr. Wily, you are in a race and you ran out of Pharaoh. So optimally, Dr. Wily eats this Pharaoh shot over my head. And then I can fire the second one at him and get a double hit in. That's time. You do have to survive. Now that last shot can kill you, and then you don't go to the credits. You have to kill him again. But a 41 with drinking Pepsi in the middle of the Skullman fight's pretty good. I agree with chat. The Wily fight music's actually really good. It's just that you're only in there for very little time. Who knew that was coming when the previous 2 games did the same thing? No, they didn't. Well, I mean, I guess they did with the Wily Machine escape. That's true. Although he doesn't escape from the Mega Man 3 Wily Machine. It's the fake robot Dr. Wily. But yeah, with that, thanks to SpeedGaming for letting me mess around with Mega Man 4 here. Thanks for chat for having a good time. Thanks to Tech in the background for making this all actually happen too. Always shoutouts to Tech. And I'm a half hour late to a Pathfinder game, so I'm gonna get going. They know I'm late. That's fine. Keep those donations coming. No Kid Hungry is a great cause, and SpeedGaming is awesome for doing this. Thanks, everybody. I typed that. I'm done.